Hello, this is Dr. Dinesh. Uh, I am teaching in the Department of Peace and Conflict Studies, Sikkim University. And of course, you can see the title, Why Homosexuality is Not Innate. This is part of the discussion. Why? Only because Honorable Supreme Court has said that homosexuality is innate. So you can very clearly see from the title, that is why homosexuality is not innate. So what is actually innate is, there is a lot of confusion historically as well, and when social phenomena are declared innate or biological, then there is a serious problem. And different interest groups, power, relationship, in all these things matters when something innate is declared in this. So what is innate? That is, the definition is like something which is coming by birth, that is innate biologically, and it is different from a priori, like a priori knowledge, like logic, the capacity to reason, the capacity of the mind to reason, that is innate, considered innate, or the structure uh, of the to understand the language or speak the language, particular language or many language, that mind has that structure, that is innate. So in biology, we say that this is innate, something or some traits are innate. But in fact, if we go for test and verification of this study, whether empirically and rationally, critical inquiry by reason and empirical study, scientific empirical study, then these claims may appear wrong. That is what. So this is innate, and how this innate is actually interplay with the role of social environment, interest, experience, and how it manifests. That is very important. So what is innate about mind is a very important and crucial question, which I am going to tell you. Actually, this is innate or a priori is ability to reason, ability to logic, ability to learn, and ability to unlearn. So not innate but social. What are these things? Using reason for specific purposes, using it to self gain or harm, learning knowledge, love, hate, and unlearning hate for just society. That is what. So we will go in detail about this. What is innate about actually human nature? Or so let's say, actually I will declare emotion innate, only emotion innate, and with the experience of in the particular experience in the context and social environment, you can see the features of love, compassion, hate, desire, passion, and greed. Like Hobbes and Machiavelli have defined human nature in the realistic sense. Why? Because they were looking human nature in terms of anarchy. So you see, people of course would not have been able to imagine the peaceful nature of lion, but when lion is socialized, uh, it remains no longer a violent animal. It can be socialized. That is crucial point. So how biology matters. So you can see this emotion and how this emotion is transformed with the experience and social condition into love, compassion, hate, desire, passion, and greed. That is what. So Hobbes and Machiavelli are wrong as the Gandhi and Leo Tolstoy. And Buddha and Kant are correct who talk about universal morality based on the reason and then the emotion. That is what I will make the claim about. So, what is innate in language? Actually, in the mind, innate, the ability of the mind to learn the language. So, you can learn if you are in particular social environment. You can learn Chinese, you can learn English, you can learn Hindi, Malayalam, or Japanese, or any language. If I say that I am I born to be a Hindi speaking individual, that is completely wrong. Why? Because I have learned the language, a particular language or mother language, let's say the mother tongue, the language which. So if somebody says that he and she is born to speak particular language, that is actually, that appears like, my mother tongue. When I speak my mother tongue, I feel like, uh, anything, you feel like, emotionally so attached to that language. I'm not attached to English. I speak English, and most of the time when I'm doing conversation or understanding English is very good language for me. But when it comes to my Bundelkhandi or Hindi, the satisfaction my heart gets, that is what the connection I feel with Hindi. So when you start speaking Hindi, so I will say that I have some kind of connection, biological connection with Hindi language. And that is a wrong statement, but I feel it. And anyone who speak his mother tongue, no, they feel a special connection with that language, emotional special connection with that language. So if somebody says that he is made to speak that particular language, it is a wrong statement. If I had born in China, Chinese would have been my mother tongue, and I would have enjoyed speaking Chinese or English than my Bundelkhandi and Hindi. So what is actually that emotional connection becomes very, very important in this context. So what is innate in learning? That is what the discourse in Hindi cinema, let's say in the Three Idiot movie, where there is a conversation. Abba, I want to become a photographer, not engineer. This is actually a liberal logic where it is trying to justify that something which is very biological and innate in your nature, that you want to become photographer or engineer or doctor. So ability to learn is actually innate, but you becomes a mathematician, you becomes a scientist, you become a social scientist, engineer, sports person, or in the social categories. That is the social conditioning. So if you like sport, if you like to solve the problem in the mathematics and physics, that is what the social conditioning is. So ability to learn is very much by birth, very much innate or a priori. Let's say the capacity to learn is a priori, the capacity of the mind to learn something, let's say a priori. So this is how it goes like this. That is what. So how mathematician becoming scientist, a social engineer, or a sports person is conditioned, that is the contextual and social, and ability to learn is actually the prior thing, the prior innate or a priori. So I want to be an engineer is a wrong statement. Or I became engineer is a correct statement. So I want to be a footballer is a wrong statement. Again, that is what actually we have to learn and understand in this context. So what is innate in social identity, let's say, or what is something special about being so religious and feeling that much emotional connection with that in that context. So ability to believe, you believe in one particular faith, whether you are a Muslim, Christian, or atheist, you have that capacity to believe. You have capacity to believe, that is natural. But what you become by believing Muslim, Christian, Hindu, and atheist, or liberal or Marxist, whatever, that is social conditioning and a social and learned behavior which you feel so much attached. If you are a Muslim by birth, you will feel so much attached with that particular religion. If you are a Hindu and doing worshipping Hindu puja and all, you will feel like you won for this purpose only. So a radical and secular view is the solution for this. So something which we claim biological and a priori, that is actually we have to go in detail and critical analysis, or through the test and empirical study. I will discuss this in later. Of course, what could be the innate and a priori, that is what we have to see. So ability to believe is very much natural, but that ability with your experience and social conditioning, you becomes a Muslim, a Hindu, or a Christian, or atheist, or anything, you start believing in something. That something is social conditioning. Otherwise, you have the only ability to believe. That is what society has to learn, and court has to learn, or 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 society has to learn, or philosophers has to learn. That is what I am born to be a Christian is a wrong statement. I am born to be a Dalit is a wrong statement. That is what, see, in this context, I'll like to throw some light on this. If you see the Varna Vyavastha in Indian Hindu religious context, in the Varna Vyavastha, you see Varna Vyavastha was based on birth, and people used to believe that it is biological. Caste system is biological. Actually, they used to believe before Enlightenment philosophy, or when social reformers started criticizing that no, this was not, and it is written in the religious text. That is what the belief system was, and that is what, and including all the religion. I'm not saying talking about the particular religion. All the religious people, they think that they are born to in this religion, that is for that purpose only. They cannot think beyond, and that appears very much biological if there is no rational inquiry on this. So what is innate in the taste and habit of the food? Let's say ability to taste the food is very much by nature. You have that quality to have that ability to taste the food. But you like chicken, or beef, or pork, or vegetables, that is social conditioning. So capacity to taste the food, you like the food, but which food you like is actually social conditioning. So, and there is hunger. So the taste of food has nothing to do with hunger. Hunger, to satisfy hunger, you have nothing to do with the taste of the food. You can also fulfill, your hunger without tasty food. That is what. So if somebody says that hunger is related to taste of the food or sweet, let's say hunger is related to sweet, that is not the it is a wrong premises, completely a wrong premises which is being set. So if somebody says that I born here to eat chicken, it's a completely wrong statement, because I like chicken, or I feel hungry to have a specific food. That is what a wrong statement is. So in that, choice of food is not innate but part of the freedom. What food you want to eat, that is a different question. But simply if somebody says that no, my hunger is very much related to pork or beef, so this is actually the fundamental problem which people really think. I have already given you the example of mother tongue. If you start or listen the mother tongue, in fact, there is connection with your heart. So you will start feeling that you want to listen and speak only mother tongue, not other language. That is what the connection is. So what is innate in sexual identity? It is very, very important question. Before civilization or society, or before republic, I will not say about democracy, but before republic, a republic believes in certain values and good and bad. That is what the fundamental premises of the republican values are. So what is innate in sexual identity? So sexuality is innate, actually, not the sexual orientation. Sexuality is innate. You have the capacity or the capability of sexuality to enjoy sexuality or do the sexual activity. But which type of sexual activity you will do, that is a completely a social activity, psychological activity. You want to do sexual activity with same sex, opposite sex, or with animal, or with anyone else, or you use any object, that is completely a social and psychological activity, and there is no problem. But claiming that somebody is want to make sexual relationship in a particular way, that is completely a statement. Like if I say that I want to speak Bundelkhandi, it's a completely wrong statement. And when social conditioning and a posteriori knowledge and consciousness, if declared a prior or innate, it is a serious problem in the social sciences, of course. So I am born as a homosexual is a wrong statement. I am born to be a heterosexual is also a wrong statement. Why? Because it is reproductive. So but it is rational. Heterosexuality is rational. Why? Because it is for procreation. Of course it's for pleasure as well, but it's a productive. So all the sexual relationship which you experiment, or you involve yourself in sexual activities, these activities cannot be called biological. These activities, and whatever activity you like and do not like, that is not biological. Your activity, the sexuality is biological, not the sexual orientation. There will be further argument that some people biologically like same sex people. Fine. There will be a next argument that some race argument, let's say, biologically it can be justified that one race, white raced people, are more attracted towards same sex or opposite sex toward the same sex, same race. So it can also be highly racist statement. That is what Supreme Court has to be careful, society has to be careful, intellectual and academician has to be careful, have to be careful, and those who are doing academics actually they have to be very careful. See, let's say take the example of a homosexual which we are discussing actually in the context of same-sex marriage. So if I say that I am attracted towards a man biologically, then biologically I can also be attracted towards my caste. Biologically I can be attracted towards a specific caste and age group people. That is the queer theory is talking about all these things and variations. And in this, attraction towards opposite sex, heterosexuality, attraction towards same sex, homosexuality, attraction towards both sex, that is bisexuality, and LGBTQ have a many 70 more than 70 categories. So attraction towards animal or attraction towards any object, these are the social and psychological conditions. But sexuality, you have ability to do involve in the activity of sex or sexual activity, that is biological, not the specific activity which you do and you like and dislike. That is a problematic premises which is being propagated in the present time, and it goes against rationality. It goes against, it could be racist, it could be casteist, it could be religious, it could be communal. This is what the actually premises are, which feudalism was using. That is what. So if I am born to to be attracted towards men, and some people are born to attracted towards opposite sex, some people are sexually attracted towards animal. These are social conditions. I have capacity to be attracted towards something that is innate and biological, rather than the subject become very much social. Your subject of your sexual activity is very much social and psychological rather than biological. But Supreme Court, uh, many actually see fundamental problem in the present discourse is that people actually they don't want to understand, and when religion is involved, they have to stand with freedom. So if religion is opposing homosexuality and same-sex marriage, liberal, they do not want to understand what is the logic, what is the rationality, but they have to take the stand against uh, majority in favor of minority, whether this minority is going to self-harm themselves. That is what. So in fact, this is what seriously we have to look into this context. Otherwise, it is a serious problem. So, what is wrong in same sex marriage and homosexuality? The wrong, nothing but it is the conflict between body and consciousness or orientation. Let's say taking identity against your own body or against your own sexual organ. This is the serious problem. So can we really go for the antagonism of the body and the consciousness or orientation, and you are going to shape your body according to your uh, orientation or consciousness? This is really a fundamental issue which we have to discuss, and Really, we need to have deliberation on that. So, if homosexuality is not irrationality, then what is irrationality? Is fundamental question. If homosexuality is not illusion, then what is illusion? If homosexuality or having multiple partner or many things, if it is not lust, then what is lust? So when we are talking about what we are talking about, when we are talking about scientific temperament in social life, why we cannot talk about scientific temperament in sexual life or sexual activities? That is the fundamental question we have to ask to ourselves and to the society and the activist, that what is the scientific temperament we have to maintain in the sexual life. In social life, of course, in Indian constitutions, uh, duties, constitutional duties. One of the duties is to maintain the scientific temperament. So, what is, if homosexuality is not irrationality, then what could be the irrationality in the sexual activities? This question has to be asked. If what is the unscientific thing in the sexual activities, and why we do have to maintain scientific temperament in social life, not in sexual life or cultural life? That is the fundamental question we have to ask. Otherwise, Kant has criticized homosexuality and he said that homosexuality is irrationality. I personally will say that homosexuality is a form of violence directed against self. And this is the sexual violence directed against oneself. And this sexual violence can only be stopped following rationality. That is what we have to look into this. And Supreme Court is of course going to hear the petition, and they are saying that see, we have to go for liberal law. Fine, absolutely fine, liberal law. What is the meaning of same-sex marriage? When feminist movement and all these movement, they are opposing family. Family is a patriarchal institution, so why do you really interested to call it a marriage? Call it cohabitation of the same sex people, let's say, or some coin a new term where two same sex people are living together. So why to call it marriage, and what is the meaning of the marriage? That is very, very important, which we really need to understand in this context. See, uh, I don't know how much I was able to explain, but really it is crucial to, from the point of view of the structural violence, where a structure where it is preparing the consciousness in the people, and they are doing violence against themselves. There are, in historically, there are many examples. Sati is one of the example of the violence against self. Sati was completely voluntary. When people, sati, they used to perform voluntarily, of course. And in the Mughal time, they banned sati, forceful sati, but it was voluntary when Lord William Bentinck banned the sati pratha. That is what really we have to understand. And I will stop here, and of course I will expect many comments. This is a very sensitive, and my intention was not only not to offend anyone, but we need rational and critical inquiry on the question of homosexuality. if we accept homosexuality biological, then other social behaviors, attraction towards same sex is if biological, then attraction towards same caste people can be also biological. Attraction towards same group of people, let's say same race or same caste or same culture, uh, it can be it can be it can be this can be put the foundation of very dangerous trend. That is what we are saying. So whether American Psychological Association take the position or medical sciences take the position that no, it is biological, I will give you one of the example. In the Saudi Arabia, some scientists, they claim that, see, Muslim women having some traits of the camel. Can you so simply see how scientists act? So the scientists in the Western countries, they can also act in the line of power or money or something. But if we accept one individual is attracted towards same sex, then attraction towards same community people could be biological. Attraction towards same sex, same race can also be biological. Attraction towards same caste can also be biological. Then there are many things. Every nonsense can be justified if it is declared biological, and that is the challenge which I am simply putting before you and all of you. And that is what, see, I'm not saying that, let's say, satisfy the conservative or society's view or sentiment. No, it is not about sentiment, it is about rationality. It is about rationality. And the Enlightenment philosophy's major project was to promote reasoning and rationality, not irrationality and emotion. That is what really ends. One of the biggest irony of this context is that it is being fought in the court, and court believes in logic, where illogical things are being put forth. That is what based on the sentiment. So I will stop here, and I would of course, it was not intended directed against any community, but a kind of a critical inquiry and rational inquiry on this phenomena of homosexuality and same-sex marriages. Thank you very much, and please subscribe my channel, and follow and subscribe, and comment and give me the feedback. We can have a philosophical debate on any topic on our Guragya. Guragya is our YouTube channel name. There is meaning to Guragya, and this is a very local term, Guragya, which I will explain later. And so please do subscribe our channel. This is presentation for half an hour. I will stop here. Thank you very much.